Hi, what's up? What's good, everybody? And welcome to Resolv3 Radio. Our co-host is not here today. Ty, you are with us in spirit, but we have a guest host. Devin is here, guest hosting in place of Ty. Hello, Devin.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
I have John Dre behind the camera. And trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Our topic for today is mass adultification within children. But first things first, I want to ask our guest host, what do they think adultification is?
I think that adultification is the overly or, early kind of introduction of adult themes to children at a younger age than, a lot of people feel like that they're supposed to be introduced to it. So, especially within the media.
Well, absolutely. Last episode, towards the end, Ty and I were talking about the Barbie movie and how the plot is relating to Barbie coming into the real world and realizing that death is a real thing. And I kind of wanted to come back this episode and talk about that some more. We have multiple films that released in 2022 and 2023 aimed for children with adult-like themes. But before I even get into that, Ty did us a huge solid by giving us a study that I have right here. It says black children are 18 times more likely than white children to be sentenced as adults and are perceived to be older and more culpable for their actions. It's important to note that Latinos were rated as neither more culpable nor as older than whites. So black children are 18 times more likely to be tried as adults when they are technically a child in this country. He sent us another article in regards to Ralph Yarl, the 16-year-old boy that was trying to find his sister and was shot by the 80-year-old man because the 80-year-old man was in fear for his life, quote unquote. And there's so many other instances where young black children lose their lives or just are exposed to too much. I feel like there needs to be a resolution.
It does, in a sense, depending on where you grew up, kind of rob people of their childhood. And, you're forced to grow up in a situation where you have to be grown. And then also you're looked down upon because it's like, oh, they're too grown, you're like, for their age. But it's like, at the same time, a lot of people didn't have a choice. They had to grow up too quick.
Now, my question is, what is it about black children that makes the adults of this world adultify them? Like, why is it black children that are more tough or stronger or able or more equipped to handle adult problems?
I don't think we are necessarily built to be equipped to handle adult problems. I think in some particular situations a lot of people are forced into that, whether it be a single family home and people feel like they have to, or especially firstborn sons, they feel like they have to step up and help their mothers out because they see how they struggle, or just different situations like that. Just kind of also having to always be on our P's and Q's because it's like there's a lot of things in the world that we have to be able to navigate differently than other people because of the history of us being treated older than we are. It's like a lot of times we have to act older than we are.
Let's expound. Firstborn son. Did you watch Avatar? The second one?
Yeah. The Way of Water.
Yeah. Speaking of firstborn sons, the spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen. By the end of the movie, the parents or the the main characters of the blue people, whatever. I don't know, Navi, whatever. I didn't watch the first one, but I definitely saw the second one in theaters. Mm-hmm. The firstborn son passes away after saving all their siblings. So I'm in this movie theater with my sister and her best friend, and we're just watching the movie, and it's really unnecessarily sad, in my opinion, for the eldest child, me being the eldest child of my mother's children, to just die by the end of the movie. And then the mother didn't even get a chance to grieve her child. It was so many things going on that they just laid him to rest, and then the other children had to survive and just leave him there. This movie was rated PG-13, so that means 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds saw this movie where their eldest sibling or the eldest sibling in the movie passes away.
Well, first, I don't know if this is really relevant, but they were able to bury him at the end. I'm a movie buff. I like the movie. And, like I think we've talked about before, I feel like art very much imitates life. Like, just because something is sad doesn't mean it shouldn't be put in a movie just because it's like, things like that happen in real life. And it is unfortunate, but I feel like it being, or in this instance, it being displayed in the media doesn't necessarily make it, unnecessary. It is something that happens, and if you don't want to, see real life things, yeah, it's a fantastical movie, but it also has elements of reality in it, which I think is important in any piece of art, for somebody to relate to, for somebody to feel something.
Okay, let's stay on films then. Wakanda 2.
That was unnecessary, bro.
It's not funny. It's not funny.
They didn't need to kill Angela Bassett off like that.
No, on some real stuff, I was just talking to Ty. I'm glad me and Ty had a 30-minute conversation prior to this episode. We discussed how unnatural death, like
being killed.
Face down in a pool of water.
Yeah, no,
after your firstborn supposedly died of an illness, and you have a 20-something-year-old daughter who you're supposed to be looking after. Like, that was an unnatural death. It's not that children don't need to be exposed to death. It's the fact that you need to expose children to natural elders passing and transitioning the appropriate way, not eldest siblings dying in front of their siblings, not mothers that aren't of older age dying in front of their daughters. Like,
I mean, at the same time, it's a superhero movie though, and they're supervillains, and the supervillains are gonna do villainous things.
There are other movies with that theme though. Is it not?
Yeah, I mean, but like I said,
there's the same examples.
Exactly. I mean, there's different movies with that theme, but there are also lots of movies without that theme. So I don't think it's necessarily like the only piece of media that's being put out there.
Okay, so besides parents monitoring their child and what their child watches, because the child's going to be exposed to the internet regardless, do you feel as though that filmmakers and media creators have a responsibility to discern what they put out to children?
To a point, because, I feel like filmmakers are going to make the film that they want to make, and at the end of the day, it is up to the parents of said child if they want to bring them to see that movie. If a parent is protective enough to, want to go in and vet out the different, films or different things of media that, they take their child to see, that's their prerogative. I don't think that filmmakers need to always think, oh, well, there are going to be children in the audience, so let me not put...
Why not?
Because there are movies like that. There are movies for children. So they can take their children to see the movies for children that don't have these themes. Like I said, if a parent wants to go and watch a movie or watch a show before they show it to their kid, I think they should absolutely do that. But I don't think filmmakers are going to be like, oh, well, there may be an 8-year-old child in the movie, especially if it's rated PG-13. That's 13, 14 is going into high school. And you can't act like 13, 14 year olds aren't already seeing or being introduced to...
Let's talk about it though. Coraline is a rated PG movie. Have you seen Coraline?
Kinda, bits and pieces, but I know the overall.
So so my brother has been getting me to watch Coraline for the longest, and he knows that Coraline creeps me out because you have these people with button eyes or whatever.
It's a Halloween movie.
No, I hate that movie. No, stop. That is adultification at its finest, because there was a scene in that movie where they the women that live upstairs are trapezing, doing trapeze acts or whatever, and her whole body is out. I had to cover my brother's eyes, and he's fighting me. Of course, little boys are going to do what little boys do, and fighting me to see this woman, this cartoon woman with over accentuated body features. What do you think of that? It's a cartoon movie, and you have bitches.
On one end,
PG.
On one end, it's because we were talking about this with a couple of, I forget what the other movie was, but there are a lot of movies that we watched when we were young that had, not adult themes, but like jokes that we didn't understand until we were older. So I feel like a lot of kids are, it could be a kid movie, but at the same time, in terms of filmmakers, appealing to their audience, they know that it's not just children watching. So it's like they know they have parents coming too. So it's like there might be like a slightly dirty joke or something funny in there that only people of older age will catch. It wasn't a dirty joke, though. Okay, I get that too. But like, little things here and there. Like I have to see the scene that you're of what you're talking about.
I wish I could pull it up.
You can pull it up.
Oh no, honest. Okay, so keep talking because
a lot of you drag it sometimes. You exaggerate a little bit sometimes.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. Coraline. It's like the women, or they were doing a trapeze act, and let me see, trapeze women, literally.